Hey team, welcome back. This video is all geared up Dwarf Hunters. There are two styles of Dwarf Hunters. So technically, a Dwarf Hunter is someone who uses extroverted intuition as their dominant cognitive function. In the MBTI, it would be an ENP. So this means your first function is extroverted intuition, and then you have introverted judging as your auxiliary function, and extroverted judging as your tertiary, and your inferior or aspirational function is introverted sensing. So we're going to unpack that through this video. And Dwarf Hunters enchant their weapons with a mage or healer enchant. And let's look at the differences now. But before that, the Dwarf Hunter, let's do a little review of this. Extroverted intuition, they are condensed into the suffix of exploration, meaning that they gain movement speed. So some keys to the Dwarf Hunter: they want to know what if, they're explorers, they're innovative, they're novelty focused, and they're flexible. They're looking for abstract connections in the outer world. Very quick, novelty focused, like it says, just ready to go, and understand as much as they can in an abstract way about the real world. Not looking at the sensory details like a sensor or a warrior would do. Okay, so ENPs. First, just based off that, we know the first and fourth functions. NE, extroverted intuition, and SI, introverted sensing. So in RPG terms, you have this Dwarf Hunter, and he likes to explore and expand his map and his territory and hunt and get all these trophies and just kind of collect these novel experiences and not sit in one place. He's not hunting only boars in one little area, right? He's always looking for new challenges. And his armor, always, if you're an extroverted intuition dominant, your fourth function is going to be introverted sensing. So that means his armor is enchanted with an elf warrior-like enchantment, kind of the embodiment of that, which is experience, right? So as your last line of defense before you start taking damage, you start getting your armor hit, right? And everything that the elf warrior is like reflecting on past experiences in a concrete, sensory-based way, right? The actual thing that happened, kind of reliving these memories of what happened. And the Dwarf Hunter is focused on the opposite of that, kind of the mirror opposite of that, right? So you can't do both at the same time. And when you get really exhausted, you can't be a Dwarf Hunter anymore, then you might start focusing on the internal feelings, not emotional feelings, but your physical sensations of what's going on. You might get a little stressed out. You can't eat. You feel physically sick when you can't explore the outer world. So maybe like kind of the walls of the cave start closing in type feeling. So that's a look at the first and fourth functions. But let's get more specific with ENFPs specifically. So we just talked about Dwarf Hunter and his armor. Okay, so let's look at his weapons. His main hand is this shotgun, right? His offhand are the special bullets that he loads, okay? He still has abilities that don't necessarily use those things, okay? The ability and the main hand or offhand are not connected. So if he has an enchantment on his shotgun of authenticity, that means his attacks are doing true damage. And technically, This means that he's making decisions, making judgments, evaluations based on his internal feelings, his ideas of what is right and wrong, what is the right thing to do, how do I feel about this situation. He's going to make the best decisions using that. And this is also kind of how he could help other people, how you could help other people if you are an ENFP. And you could teach people how to make a decision that helps another person feel true to themselves by looking at the deep inner aspects of the other person. Because you have this ability to look at the abstract ideas and connections within your hero ability, your dominant function, and then inform those decisions based on personal ideas and your own experience, your subjective experience. So that's the best way to interact. But the easier way to make decisions is often to go to your tertiary function, your offhand. And for the ENFP, that means going to loading up these bullets, these shotgun shells, with a dwarf mage-like enchantment of effectiveness. Technically, it's extroverted thinking, and it's trying to organize the world around you and get quick, solid results and measurements. But it's your offhand, so it's not very good. Sorry to say that. But you need to really balance that out with introverted feeling with your main hand. But because it's so easy to do, to stay in the same extroverted realm, the same dwarf realm, it's very easy to do. So you want to make decisions. If you're using this effectiveness, you will make decisions based on what can I do right now to make something happen. And then you do that, you explore a little bit, and then you go back and you do something else without introspecting and thinking about, is this really the right choice? So that's how the effectiveness in your tertiary function would be used. Also, you might kind of need some help sometimes organizing the world around you, because it's not your strong point, despite you probably using it enough. Like, you use it quite often, but it's not the best thing you should do. Let's look at a quote here from Sid Meier. He says, "I prefer games where the player can lead the game in the direction that they want, and then they kind of end up with that unique story that only they can know." So we can dissect this a little bit. He likes games that, you can go in any direction. That's very extroverted intuition. And yet having a unique personal story is more on the introverted feeling side. And in the United States, it's 8.1% of the population that are ENFPs, according to Myers-Briggs.org. So let's switch the enchantments and look at ENTP. So you still have the Dwarf Hunter, you still have Introverted Sensing, this elf warrior kind of enchantment on your armor that protects you as a last line of defense. But now your shotgun is enchanted with accuracy. So you are doing more precise attacks. So technically, you're using introverted thinking to make decisions in the world. And that's informed by your extroverted intuition. And so these decisions are based on, does it really make sense internally to me based on my logical, technical understanding of the world? Okay, so that's also how you might help other people and support other people too, is kind of show them that, you know, you're messing up. You're not making the correct decision in this time. And that is the best way for you to make decisions if you are an ENTP. But the easy way is often to go to your offhand and load up these bullets that heal people, healing bullets, or harmony bullets. So because it's also extroverted, technically, it's easy to go to. You don't need to stop and take time and assess it within your mind. And you can quickly kind of look at the situation, look how people are feeling by reading the social situation, and then go and try something. Make a decision based on the feelings, and then just try it. Start pushing buttons, pulling levers, and things like that. And you get instant feedback, which feels good for your dwarf hunter. But you're not as proficient with your offhand as you are with your main hand. So it's very important that you stick with your main hand and not just go with the easy fix of this extroverted feeling dwarf healer type enchantment. So let's look at the ENTP. Here's a quote from Martin Scorsese. "I have an urge to explore, to create movement, to go faster and faster, and maybe find some kind of peace at the heart of it, a state of pure being." So the urge to explore is very much a dwarf hunter, extroverted intuition type thing. And to find this state of pure being, this real honest understanding of things at a very deep technical level, would be the introverted thinking aspect. So that kind of slows him down and gives him this good, honest decision that he can make. And in the United States, it's 3.2% of people that are ENTPs, according to the Myers-Briggs.org website. So that's a look at both the dwarf hunters. The request, it takes time and practice, but it is worth it, as I'm saying quite often now in these videos, as just watch it over and over again if you need to, and take some time to analyze the people around you and ask, do you know any dwarf hunters? If you are not one, you should start looking at your family and friends. And which spec are they? Because you should talk to the judging function within that, either thinking or feeling, and it helps you build a good connection with them. So that has been a look at all geared up dwarf hunters. There are two styles of dwarf hunters. As always, thank you very much for watching, and good luck, have fun.